And we are live.
Hello, welcome to the Gathering Paracast. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Heidi.
And I'm
And
Jason.
there you go. Here
And
we are.
I think the new opening, Jason, is that supposed to be you and us too with a
Yeah, that's what I was
That
shooting
was
for
cool.
there. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
for
it.
the smorgasbord.
Yeah,
Yes.
waiting for a ride.
That is so
Yes.
cool. That is so cool. Oh my gosh.
Good. Well, thank you.
Well, it's fabulous.
I like
You do
it.
such good work for sure. So tonight is the Paranormal Smorgasbord, so anything goes. We have
Yep.
varied topics, I'm sure. First of all, though, I think we need to say that tonight is the full moon, and it's the full beaver moon, and she is gorgeous. Luna
Super
is
moon.
fabulous. Yes. And I took some pictures. Jason, were you able to get them? There she is. She is amazing. You know, I was on my way home from the drugstore actually, and Dewey was in the back seat because we had been for a walk. And I'm like, oh my God, look at that moon. She is just fantastic. And the
Yeah.
energy, crazy energy, because all my kitties were up really wild all night last night. I got like just bits and pieces of sleep. But it's
from
all
the full
good.
moon.
It is beautiful. And it's called the beaver moon because naturally this is when the beavers all go into their lodges and they've packed it full of food. They're ready for the winter, right? So full beaver moon. Next month's moon is the winter. I believe it's the winter moon. So we're getting there.
We're getting there. We are getting there. Next month's moon might bring some fierce weather.
I know. Yeah, you just never know, right? Oh my goodness. And then the other thing I was going to just mention briefly, we've done a lot of shows on the Edmund Fitzgerald, and on the 10th, which is coming up 5 days from today, is when she went down in the Lake Superior 50 years ago. And I happened to catch on our local channel, which is Fox 9, that they are doing a documentary, and it's airing tonight at 9:30. So for all of you out there, you should be able to catch it online, and it's fox9.com. It's at 9:30 Central. So
That's cool.
you're in. But yeah, so they talked to a bunch of people, like survivors, families, maybe even actually there were no survivors. So all of the people who passed away, the survivors that are still left, and they have some footage of the boat, and they talk about the whole 9 years. I can't wait to see it. Actually, I'm really excited to watch it. So that's tonight.
God, 50 years.
50 years.
Wow. That is kind of cool.
It's nuts.
Yeah. That's there's a really good beer that's named the Edmund Fitzgerald. That's
I think you said that last time we brought this up.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. When I come across it, I pick it up.
Yes.
You keep bringing it up, so it must be good.
Yeah.
Yes. In honor
It's on my gift list.
Nice.
I like it. Well, okay, because we started out with that fantastic opening, I'm going to go first because Heidi, you're going to love this. Okay, because I haven't told you about this. This is something new that happened to me. And you know that I'm a skeptic when it comes to UFOs. Not that I don't believe there's other life in the universe. Absolutely. And I mean, I've seen some weird things in the skies too. But a couple of weeks ago, the SIM crew did this big investigation of this old healthcare facility. And it happens to be in a place that's known for UFO activity. But whatever. I don't even think about that. So the girls and I were doing some EBP work, and we decided that we would do the Estes method, right? So I was the one that had. So what we do, the Estes methods involves noise canceling headset. You have to wear a blindfold, and then the headset is connected to one of these little boogers, which is a spirit box or an SB7. And the idea behind it is spirit talks. We can hear it. Whatever is said, we speak out loud because we don't know what they're asking, what the other investigators are asking. So we're moving along, and I've got these things going on. And if you watch the whole video, which we can, it's a private investigation. So we cannot, I can't mention what was said, but it was making sense. And then all of a sudden, this sound came on. I don't know what it was. It was just like maybe 5 to 7 seconds, scared the living daylights out of me. And intuitively in my head, what I saw was stars. I saw some lights up there. I felt like it was some kind of intergalactic communication. And of course, I'm freaked out, right? Whip off the headset, whip off the iPad. And I said, oh my God, well, I have the video just of that. So let's watch that. And then I'll tell you what my teammate said.
Did you not get your medication for the day?
You know, there seems like there's intergalactic communication going on in here. It sounds like some kind of communication going on from somewhere not here. Yeah, so that's me. And of course, my teammates were like, well, Steph, you know where we are. And I'm like, yeah, but I was kind of freaked out. I got to say, I was freaked out. And so actually we're returning to that building for another investigation. So this time we will make sure that we are recording on the SBS7, because I know Desiree said, Steffi, we're going to record this time so we can hear what you heard. And I said, well, I can't even describe what it was. It was just, and then this picture in my head, well, my eyes, I was blindfolded, of stars and intergalactic stuff going on, and it just, okay, I didn't sign up for this.
Right.
But it was very cool. It was very cool. So you never know, it might happen again. We might have to do some work down there too. I'm on that level,
How long were you in there?
We were there for 3 or 4 hours. This was at the tail end, so we were almost ready to go, right? So we maybe had a half hour left after this happened. And then a couple others tried this too. They tried putting on the headset and stuff, and they didn't get it, but I sure did. Is it because I'm RH negative and I'm a star seed? I don't know, but it was crazy talk. That's all I'm saying,
Uh-huh. Now, is it dark in there the whole time, or do you have some lights with you?
No, I darkened up the video. There were actually some lights that were permanently on in there. So it wasn't super dark, but I darkened it up so that nobody could tell where it was. Because we're under a confidentiality agreement. Yeah. So, but anyway, cool beans. What do you think, Heidi? What?
I mean, yeah, I think it's anything's possible, I think. So it'd be interesting to actually hear what was going on, other than just you're saying something happened. It would be nice to hear what that was. So I agree with getting the whole thing recorded.
So we'll see. And who knows if it'll ever happen again, right? We don't know. But,
right.
But yeah.
Have you used that device to record that phenomenon before?
You mean use a spirit box down there?
Yeah.
No, we had never done an investigation there before. So this was our first time even in that locality. We have done other things there, and actually it's in a place where my dad is from near there, and so I spent a lot of time close by as a kid. So it's known to me. We've just never done investigations there before. So interesting stuff. I don't know what that was, but in my head, that's exactly what I saw. And I'm like, oh my God, girls, this is not what I want. But then I wanted to do it again, but then everybody wanted to do it. So then, we all did. But
and you would be blindfolded for that?
Yep. Blindfold. Yeah. It's sensory deprivation, right? So all you hear is what's coming through the spirit box. And then what you see is intuitive. So yeah, it's a cool thing. We do it every once in a while. And I just think it's such a neat way to investigate paranormal,
I do it quite a bit in my investigations too. And it's something different to do.
Yeah.
Last week when you were when you had the doll out, Heidi, you used a term for when that you had almost like a vision of the doll's past. I can't remember what that term was.
Psychometry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was the first time I'd ever heard of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that
quite a
kind of
bit.
similar to what you're doing there with the blindfold?
No, psychometry is when you touch something, then you get impressions of what has happened to that object in the past, or who might have had it, or who may have it now. You know,
It's touch specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very unfamiliar territory for me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So that's my story. So who wants to go next?
Well, I don't know. Go ahead, Jason, if you want.
Well, just yesterday, here in the east from Pennsylvania to Maine, during the daytime, actually I think it was the day before, there was this strange swirl in the sky, very reminiscent of some of like the SpaceX launches and stuff. And it was very swirly. And the odd thing about it is there's really all the schedules for those launches and stuff are posted online, and it was a dead day. There was really not supposed to be anything in the sky. And so there's been some like reports, oh, it was this launch or that launch, but the fact is nothing was actually scheduled to be launched, and SpaceX is idle for the day. And then they were saying maybe it was something from Central America or something, but we were only seeing it here in the East. But I have a video here of that, and it's pretty cool. And lots of people seen it. And you know, and it's very, very common that swirl, and it wasn't a fast moving thing, but it was very widespread, you know, from Pennsylvania to Maine and into Virginia and stuff, and lots of people on Twitter and stuff. And then you get a lot of the reports saying it must have been, you know, like a fuel dump from a launch or something like that. But again, it was a very slow scheduled day, and so you know, at first you know, oh, that must be it. But then if you look deeper into those explanations really aren't holding water. And it's really cool because you'll see something on Twitter and stuff, and like you'll see it just isolated. You know, like, oh, that was kind of cool, but who knows if it's real or not. But then when you start seeing it from different locations and from different angles, it's pretty cool. You know, and you were talking about, you know, yeah, and you're talking about, you know, the UFO stuff, you know, how you're naturally, you know, dismissive. I'm the exact opposite with the UFOs, you know. That's yeah, there they are, you know. Maybe there's some Bigfoots in there. Yeah. So that's been kind of an excitement for the week, and it seems like we're getting a lot of interstellar and intergalactic things like in the news and at all of the different chat rooms and stuff. I mean, and a lot of it's mainstream too, like, and you know, a lot of these hearings and like these leaked videos, and then are they AI? Are they real? But it sure seems like we're heightening, like activity is getting heightened. And it's kind of it's got me kind of intrigued.
Well, and Jerry was telling me about this E1 something that's coming at us, right? In like 30 days or something, and it was here before, like a long time ago. I should have followed up on that before I came on the show. But Jerry, I know you're watching. So what is it? It's like something numbers. It's like E does something one. I don't know. But it's interesting that all this is kind of happening all at the same time. Oh, my Atlas. Okay, well, I was way off, but you know.
And I think that one too, I think it's coming from the very from the same general area that a very famous like message back in, I think, the late
Yes.
70s or
Yes.
early 80s
Yes.
originated. And matter of fact, did it say like wow or
Yes.
something like that? It was like a very short and I've seen some of that, and it seems like, man, there's sure these news cycles are just blending. And you've got like this comet or that comet or the Atlas, which has a very familiar like cigar type shape. And I think if I'm not confusing the two different phenomenons. And yeah, yeah. And we have Jerry talking. Carl Sagan talked about it when it happened. The message that came from there. That's again, everything just seems to. It seems like there's not a lot of. It used to be like every few months you'd have some cool phenomenon, and now it seems like it's hard to keep up with them. And maybe some of it's people's skill with cameras and social media and stuff, but it sure seems like there's a lot more for us to film.
Yeah. Well, and Carl Sagan, I always say he's the one. Whatever he said, he was amazing. He was amazing.
Yeah.
Cosmos,
Yeah.
that book cover to cover, back in the day. So.
Oh yeah, I would get grounded and I got in trouble a lot as a kid and a preteen and stuff, but I was always allowed to watch. I was always allowed to watch Carl Sagan and Cosmos, even if if I was in serious trouble.
Yes, it's just so cool.
Yeah. And Jerry brings up, how AI makes things hard to believe now. A lot of things. And then some conspiracy people feel like that's intentional. That it's like a dilution of the evidence. But there's just, it sure makes it for some entertainment reading.
Yeah.
And watching.
Sure. For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, I thought you were done.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Well, let me open up my phone here. So I was watching a show the other day, and it was on, I think, a couple years ago, and it's current. It's not a couple years ago. Anyway, it's currently happening. So I'm switching it up. We're going from the sky to the water, and it's about Loch Ness. So it's this show about Loch Ness, which I love. I've been there. It is a cool place. If there is not something living in the deep, I don't know. I really think there is something. And so what they've been doing is they've been testing the water, because they have equipment now that can test the water for DNA to find what creatures are to what percentage are in the water or have been in the water.
Wow.
So they'll test and find. So what they were looking for is DNA for plesiosaurs. Remember, like the Jurassic, whatever dinosaur that they think this might be a descendant of, right? And they're getting, because they have this, DNA from fossils and whatever, they're saying there's none in this water. And they can tell there's even, a small point, whatever percent of human DNA in the water, meaning humans go in the water. So they can tell who's been in the water, even if they're not currently in the water. So it's very specific, very accurate. And the largest percentage of DNA in the Loch Ness is actually eel, which I was like, this is why I don't go swimming in water that I can't see in, because but eel would explain maybe some of these images with the humps, right?
Right.
Although the size doesn't always line up, because some of these eels, they said on some of them, they could get, I think it's set up to 10 feet long, which is also extremely ishy. Yeah. Largest of it can be up to 10 feet long. No, thank you very much. But
a 10-foot eel to me would be yucky.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that at all. But it's a large percentage of eel DNA in the Loch Ness. So they're like, okay, well, possibly, this could be. And then what they were saying, you have to get through the show to get to all this information. But there's a significant chunk of DNA that is unidentified in the water. They don't know where it is. Now, science is discovering new species every year. I think hundreds, if not thousands, right, of new species, probably hundreds of new species every year on the planet. So they're like, okay, well, there could be some unidentified species in this lake. They could be, microscopic, they could be small, whatever. But what they're doing is also testing, because it's such a big, deep lake. They're also testing at this lake in Sweden that has very similar characteristics, and doing the same kind of testing, because they're trying to see, like, could there be multiple, because there's been similar sightings in this lake in Sweden. And so I thought it was pretty cool that they're still doing a lot of testing to see, like, what could be in these lakes that are unidentified creatures. And so they're testing for everything. They're testing for small, they're testing for, whatever. But there's, it's cool to see, like, they're branching out now and trying to find similar lakes to do more testing to see, hey, what could, what kind of creatures could be in these really big, deep, cold lakes that are around, different places of Europe at this point. They might be, expanding further out to other countries or other continents. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool, because I'm always hopeful that they'll find some magical mystery creature, or be able to prove that there's something interdimensional, because I do think that there's a lot of substance to interdimensional creatures, whether they're something we can identify or not. Why can't beings, move through, and even beings that we're able to identify maybe slide into some other dimension just through some kind of weird little doorway or portal, not with any intention, it just happens. So if there's something that's been around for a long time, and has, like, some kind of, supreme intelligence, or, it's from somewhere else and can manage to get in and out, it doesn't necessarily live here, I think that's pretty interesting.
Interdimensional Nessie sounds awesome.
I love it.
Heidi, you and I have talked a lot about these lake monsters, and we've always felt that they were interdimensional, like Bigfoot, Sasquatch. They should do some testing for Lake Superior, because Lake Superior is the deepest Great Lake, and they also have a lake monster up there, and I don't remember, Pressy or something, I think is what they call her.
Oh, I can't remember what that one's called. We have one in Lake Erie too, and we actually have one over in Kinzu. We actually have some footage of it on Cryptovania. And that's awesome. That is awesome.
So,
and it's also really cool that they can pick up so small a piece per million parts per million, to figure out what's in there. And it would be really fascinating if you found enough eel DNA. Are there that many visible eels there? So if you don't have, like, piles and piles of eels, is it maybe because you only have one?
One really big one.
One really big one. That's interesting.
I think, I don't know, I think it's super cool. And just like the fact that they can test for this and get to the smallest amount and still know that there's a being that's been there, and they can tell, if there's been a being, they can go so far back too, so there is like not a trace of this prehistoric creature in the water. So they're looking at other options, and I think it's really fascinating. And I don't know why there wouldn't be an option for something that's interdimensional, because we don't know enough. And when you think of all these lakes, right, that have these, just like Bigfoot, right, all over the planet, there are very similar sightings of creatures, and especially before humans were so connected, there were these beings that were seen over and over again in different cultures. And same thing with these lake monsters. So it's not that different. It's like, well, why are all these cultures seeing a very similar image, a very similar being? Could they be moving from place to place in our world and moving to other places throughout other worlds or dimensions or whatever? So I don't know. I mean, just because they don't look like us doesn't mean they're not intelligent. It's, there's this idea that they're, dumb animals or whatever. And it's like, how could you say that if you don't know? We don't have any that we're aware of, like that we can, test or investigate, whatever. So how do you know? They could be, supremely intelligent beings and have the
Yeah,
capability.
you could. It could be that at the deep dark depths or deep dark depths of those lakes throughout the world, that maybe you have portals there that things can move through. And that which would explain why they're you see it and then it's gone. And you don't see it for a couple of years and then somebody sees it. And it's funny because a lot of people will embrace the interdimensional Bigfoot. But interdimensional Nessie, that might be a bridge too far for some people.
Right.
It's like, well, if you're gonna go down the Bigfoot route, you should push the envelope a little.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Well,
so
and you think,
how about mermaids? Mermaids, maybe they're interdimensional too, and that's why nobody's ever been able to find proof of them.
Well, right. And you think about
mermaids have been talked about for centuries and centuries and centuries in all parts
it'd be
of the globe.
any cryptid, really. It's the same thing. There's so many cryptids all over the planet that are talked about or witnessed or stories told. And you think of water, and this comes up with aliens and UFOs and things like that too, where maybe they're coming in and out through some kind of portal in the bottom of really deep lakes or oceans or whatever, because it's very hard for us to get there and to know what's there. So their ability to use something where they can have a base or a doorway or whatever in somewhere that's pretty inaccessible to us at this point would make a lot of sense, because we can't get there.
Well, and that sound that they thought was a mermaid came from the Mariana Trench, right? Which is the deepest trench in all of the oceans on planet Earth. So maybe,
Yeah. And there is a lot of talk. There is a lot of stuff about UFOs and stuff and orbs going and going into the ocean and disappearing into the ocean. And maybe a lot of times we're distracted looking up above and down in the ocean depths are
Minnesota, all of it. I mean, Jerry, you grew up in Bemidji, and when Project Blue Book was really big, a UFO came out of Lake Mobile. And they had pictures and crazy talk. And, a lot of eyewitnesses that I've talked to in northern Minnesota have long told me about these spaceships that come up out of lakes. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And with the sea serpents too, I've often wondered if there isn't like miles and miles of like caverns, interconnecting a lot of these, like maybe interconnecting the Great Lakes and stuff, if maybe, like a mile or so down below that there isn't like these passageways that can be used, by serpent-like creatures. And, especially when you have those deep, just seem almost crazily deep, some lakes, and you're like, really? Because you can imagine things forming and stuff, and then you're like, some of them you're just like, well, that seems crazy, crazy. Yeah.
I think I'm rubbing off on you, Jason, because you say crazy a lot now. Because I always say crazy.
Dragging me down this side of the aisle. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Lots of chats, a lot of stuff in the chat room. Paula says good show. She's right here up in Northwest Pennsylvania. Joe Nutter's been in there. Jerry's been in there a lot, had a lot to say.
Awesome.
Excellent stuff.
Been a fun show. So, maybe next month I'll have more to report on that, because I think we're going back there this month. So
excellent.
Good.
Excellent. And then, what you're gonna do now is try to hook up to that and see if you can record some of the.
You can record right on here. Des says, I don't know. She looked it up in the manual. She's
interesting.
I am not, but she said, I looked it up in the manual. We can do that, and I'm like, okay, let's do it.
That's awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing that result.
Yeah, for sure. So
great.
Awesome. Well, you guys, I think it's a wrap. What a great show tonight. We had a lot of really fun things to talk about, and it's good. Good times.
Nice.
Yes. Yes, I had a good time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, everyone watching, thanks for watching us and listening to us. However, you get our little paracast, and thank you to the troops who may be out there listening. I know we used to have a lot of them listening on the radio. I don't know if they listen so much here anymore, but I always like to thank them and thank them for their thank you for your service, and please be safe.
Yes.
Yes.
And everybody in the chat room, thank you for contributing. Thanks for being here and listening wherever you all are listening to us or tuning in. Thank you so much. Jason, thanks for pulling this together. Once again, we always appreciate everything you do.
Oh,
and yeah,
best
big
producer on
time.
planet Earth.
And
Thank you.
Cryptovania TV for hosting. And anytime you guys can get a chance to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, we'd love it.
Yes, please.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
And we'll look forward to seeing you all next week.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.